said anything. And let's see what is going to happen today. We are trading mini S&Ps here. We are trading, I can't believe it, 27 at 27 and a quarter got up to here. And coming off here a little bit, if you did get in at 27 as a scale, you're doing okay with it. All right. Let's see here. All right, so we just, again, we are not going to be perfect as we quickly came up here to 28 area there. It got up to 7 and a quarter. We scale into our positions up here. And what we like to do is scale in a little bit above and below the level just to make sure that we kind of get in. Obviously here, if you scale in at 27, some people scale in a point above and below, some people scale in a half a point above and below. Either way, it's a way of getting into our levels and trying to take advantage of it, considering we're not going to be perfect. And this was a perfect situation here where we just missed out on if you were scaling in a half a point above and below. If you did point above and below, then you did all right. And you got a nice little rotation here. So be a little bit careful here of the 28 going forward, as you know, obviously it's a little bit more tenuous because we kind of just got right up to it and missed out. So anyway, we are trying to we use our levels here to give us opportunities to make some money in the market. We don't believe the markets go straight up or straight down. Consequently, we try to find these inflection points where the market will give us an opportunity to make a little bit of money. We are scaling, scalping the market. We're looking for about 2 or 3 points today with our levels and our stops and entry points. And we do this here on an everyday basis. We used to be on Florida Exchange, but unfortunately, because of COVID and anything associated with it, we're not on the floor anymore, at least that's for the time being anyway. So be a little bit careful there. Of the 28 area, if it comes back up here, if you're going to do it, maybe go up to 29 or 30. If we make a little bit of adjustment, like I said, it'll help you stick with the trade, or some of our traders cancel altogether because we did come up here and we did kind of test it and came off. All right. All right, so there's your situation here with the 28. If you have any questions, please feel free to write them down in the chat box area. Yeah, it'd be a little easier for me to find them a little bit quicker, as the chat box area is up. I don't have my Q&A section up here as readily as I have my chat box window. So that'll give me a better opportunity here to see your question a little bit faster and then answer it a little bit quicker. And again, be a little bit careful here of the 28 area, given the fact that it is, if you didn't get into 27, yeah, we did have a nice rotation off of it. So that, again, like I said, it becomes a little bit more of a, you know, like the level works. Consequently, we're not trying to use a level twice. But if you didn't get in, you have to make an adjustment and see what, you know, how you want to trade it. Maybe trade a little bit less. If you're trading more contracts, lessen the load a little bit. That'll give you an opportunity to stay with it. And that way you'll, you know, have a chance to make a little bit of money on the trade. If not, if you're too risky for you because we did come off of it, then just wait for the next level on the upside, or the next opportunity, I should say, total. All right, that's where we're at here. Obviously, we got new high by a tick up there. It is a possibility too, but you know, it is a little bit more risky. So, all right, let's see what else we can talk about here as we are waiting for the next opportunity. Good morning there, Mark. Little celebration yet? Almost. Oh wait, can't do that yet. Almost. Again. Yeah, I'll show repeated levels, not a big deal. Our pivot this morning is 34.21. 34.21, resistance at 28, 34, 41, 47, and 53. Support below at 1307, 3400, 3395, and 88. So again, we got up here to the 28 level as it touched it a little bit, and now it came off here. So be a little bit careful up here against the 28 level. Let's see. See what numbers coming out here this morning. There's new home sales coming out here at 9 o'clock at the top of the hour in about 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes. So be a little bit careful. The new home sales could be a little bit of a market mover. So be mindful of that as we are trading up here. You know, when the number comes out at the top of the hour, if you don't like to have a position on hand, or if you don't like to, you know, if it's something close by and you're worried about it getting triggered. So keep that in mind if you're trading. It's at the top of the hour. It's a nice little resistance area here at the 28 area. Unfortunately, depending on how you got in, maybe you're in, maybe you weren't. But be a little bit careful now against the 28 altogether because of the way it's setting up here. And we'll look next level on resistance as a 34. Remember, at the top of the hour, we have the new home sales coming out here a little bit. Dunkin' Donuts and Baskin Robbins owner have held preliminary talks to be acquired by Inspire Brands after a New York Times article reported on the negotiation. Inspire would take Dunkin' private at $106 a share, valuing the company at $8.8 billion. As the market quickly rotates down here, coming back down here to our blue band, the support level on the downside is 13. The premium on the price there of $106 a share is 20% from the closing on Friday of $80. So it's a nice little bonus for them. And well, Duncan said there's no certainty on any agreement will be reached. If successful, Inspire would add a new asset to its Buffalo Wings, Arby's, and Jimmy John's chains already it owns. Very nice, Duncan. Do a good job there. Yeah, it's market trying to bounce here off of our blue band a little bit there at the 17 area. Again, we're waiting for 13 on the downside as our next support level. It was chilly in this weekend. You know it's bad when you say the weather is good here. When you're standing in the sun, it feels warm and it's beautiful out, but you feel that chill in the air. Yeah, winter is around us all over. The leaves are turning. It's beautiful. I don't know if you get that. I think the palm trees in California change colors at all, and the leaves don't fall off, but they do around here. It's beautiful. You probably have no idea what I'm talking about. Yeah. Fine. You in Florida too. Stop talking to me, you guys. All right, nice rotation there off of our loop band area there. Got in maybe 18 and a half area. Maybe 17, got down to 17 and a half and bounced back up. Sure, our pivot this morning is 34.21, 34.21. Resistance to 28, 34, 41, 47, 53. Support below at 1307, 3400, 3395, and 88. All right, nice rotation there for our blue banders. Is that a question or a statement that my grass gets brown? I didn't even know you knew what that meant. Yeah, it's coronavirus surges, elusive stimulus package. U.S. indexes are starting the week on the back foot, nearly down 1%. Overnight, as a nation, reported a record of more than 83,000 new COVID infections on both Friday and Saturday. We are not going to control this pandemic, said Mark Meadows. They've given up. On CNN on Sunday, Meadows and Pelosi are accusing each other of moving the goalposts on stimulus legislation in back-to-back interviews, dimming chances of a deal could be reached before Election Day. This is not a good situation here in the United States for those of you who live here with these numbers getting completely out of hand. And, Chicago is like semi into a lockdown at 10 o'clock at night, closing everything down. And closing some bars only if you, this is weird, if you serve food in those bars, then you can stay open, but if you don't serve food, you have to close. So it's kind of goofy here. Yeah, it's not good what's going on. And they have given up on trying to control it, at least this administration. So they really don't care. So I wrote a piece. Trading one account will automatically trade other accounts exactly. So what are you saying? How is it going to trade there? What was the algo that you wrote? What was it going to do? The COVID-19 vaccine being developed by University of Oxford and AstraZeneca produces a robust antibody and a T-cell immune response in elderly people. The group of riskiest highest risk. The Financial Times reports, while details of the finding are expected to be published shortly in a clinical journal, sources caution that the positive immunogenicity, some big technical term, tested do not guarantee that the vaccine will ultimately prove safe and effective in older people. AstraZeneca resumed the U.S. trial of the experimental vaccine on Friday after a pause due to safety concerns, while Johnson & Johnson also restarted trials, saying that the first batch of its shot could be available in January. So we've gone the Florida election now to January. So they still got a little ways to go here before some kind of vaccine comes through. As we are bouncing again off of our blue band, do have a number coming out here in 10 minutes. China has purchased approximately 71% of the farm purchases targeted for 2020, according to interim reports of agricultural trade from the U.S. Trade Representative. They have purchased $23 billion in agricultural products so far this year, substantially more than the base year of 2017, and should end up being our best year in sales to China. It's worth noting that the Phase 1 agreement did not go into effect until February 14th of 2020, and March is the first full month of effect. We are on pace to have high all-time sales to China in beef, pork, corn, and soybeans. All right, we're just kind of hanging here. Our charts frozen. Yes, they are. How about now? Thanks for reminding me. It should be okay now. 2 or 3 point stops would be adequate today. As the threat of election-related unrest escalates in the United States, Facebook said it would implement emergency measures reserved for at-risk countries to bring down the online temperature. The social media giant plans to limit the spread of viral content and lower the bar for suppressing potentially inflammatory posts using internal tools previously deployed in Sri Lanka and Myanmar. The Wall Street Journal reported the tools would only be used in the event of election-related violence or other serious circumstances, though some employees are concerned it would slow down viral content and unintentionally hide legitimate political discussion. Yeah, well. We are a little bit range bound here, as you can tell. Our blue band is doing its job there, hanging in there. If you are trading with us, that's a popular trade for some of our traders. We are looking to scalp the market, given the levels that we have. We don't believe the market's go straight up or straight down. Consequently, we're trying to find these inflection points to give us an opportunity to make 2 or 3 points in our trades with the same amount of stop, the same amount of points per stop. And we're trying to find these opportunities using the levels that we gave out, plus the price action opportunities that occur once the market paints some bars. As you can tell here, it's choppy a little bit. The market is. So today is October 26th, and it's snowing outside my house today, right now. Sure, our pivot this morning is 34.21, 34.21, resistance at 28, 34, 41, 47, 53. Support below at 13, 08, 07, sorry, 07, 3400, 3395, and 88. Well, if it's snowing, it's got to be a little bit chilly. It says it's 34 degrees here. Next hour, precipitation, and there's little snowflakes coming down. So it's right on the border, obviously. It's 34 degrees right now, obviously it's just enough in the upper atmosphere to freeze whatever rain that's up there and let it come down to snowflakes. Probably, technically the level got triggered up there at 28, so consequently it becomes a little bit more risky to trade. So if you didn't get in because we went down to 7.25, up to 7.25, I should say, and so it's a little bit, if you didn't get in at 27 because if you didn't scale in at 27 by a point above and below, then technically the level worked. So we don't like to use a level once we get up there. Technically, for some, the level worked, but but it didn't because we never got triggered. So it's, how do you use the level? Maybe some of you wouldn't. You cancel, and then some of you maybe lower your risk, how much you would trade on there instead of trading multiple contracts. Maybe just trade smaller, and if you're still, and maybe adjust a little bit as to where your entry point is as well. So different ways of dealing with a level, given the fact that it's almost got triggered, depending on your scale and how you get in. It's a good way to trade this level. Well, I mean, if you're going to just use one lot, I would just use the level itself. And if you're going to do, it depends. It's a tough question to answer, right? I don't know. I don't know if you put it at level or do you leave it half tick below. It depends on how much risk you want to take with if you're doing just a one lot. If you don't want to scale, if you're not going to scale and you're doing just one lot, just probably use the level itself. So now at this point, right now, the 28 would be very risky. You probably have to cancel. But if you're doing multiple contracts, you lessen your risk and maybe enter it above at 29 and above at 30 and see what happens there. If not, just wait for the 34. Like I said, it's a little bit more riskier now that technically did get up here and did have a rotation off of it. Just keeps making one tick at a time up here. Well, then it's not always the case. A lot of times, maybe. So maybe you should do well. So how would you So then just put it in the lower end, just doing one entry point. Yeah, it's fine. It's uh, that's what you're, if you're paying for the levels only. I get it. That's fine. All right, chopping around here. Number is out. You can see here it kind of bounced down a little bit off of that. Again, that 28 area is getting a little sticky. I would not do anything up there anymore above it. I'd wait for the 34 area. Seems like we're going to get above it and stay above it. And so I think we're going to kind of trade down here a little bit. If, well, I mean, I don't know what we're going to do, but the 28 area is definitely not usable anymore. All right. All right. So the 28 area here is probably not as strong as it was a little bit. So I'm using the probably wait for 34 as our next good level of resistance. And support a little bit of rotation, maybe back. Well, pivot here is a 21. It did bounce off here a little bit, or looking down. Get below. Well, we'll look for the 13. If we get below 16. We're getting up here, getting above this 28 area, looking for the 34 is the next level of resistance. All right, again, we're looking for the 34 area up here. Again, we are looking to scalp these markets. That's what we're trying to do. We talked about the 28 area being a little bit risky, coming back up here. If I had anything, it would have been up there at 30, but it's getting close. I mean, if I'm doing the 30, I'm doing the 34 also. So for those of you who want to remember this and kind of feel old after I say it was 36 years ago today that Michael Jordan made his NBA debut for the Chicago Bulls. 36 years ago. Whoever knew that he was going to be the greatest of all time? That's going to create some opportunity there. Anyway, but 16 rebounds. This is 16 points, I should say. 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 block shots, and 2 steals on his first NBA game 36 years ago. Yeah, I know, Tim, right? I know. I have the same feeling when I read it. I know what you're feeling. No, you don't know that uh, you can trade a level that many times. No, I mean, if I had to do if I was going to do anything, because we got up there again prior to the number and then stopped, I definitely had to adjust it all the way up to 30 if I was going to do anything because of that secondary kind of top. So it definitely became a little bit more risky there at 28 and a half. For sure, I would not have had 28 and a half for that reason. So definitely have to move it up to at least 29 or 30, like I said earlier. But if you left it there at 8.5, is it okay? All right. Well, yeah. So that was that. It's cool that his first NBA game, but just 36 years ago sounds a little bit long-ish. Considering I probably kind of remember that. All right. We're just kind of hanging up here and staying above our blue band. So it's a little bit bullish here, not a big deal. If we get below the 16, we'll look to go down to 13. And up here, we're just kind of floating back and forth. A tough little area to trade because we're looking at 34 as our next level of resistance. We did make a little bit of an adjustment there against the 28 area. I mentioned that we probably would have to adjust it up to the 30 area if you were going to take it at all. And we did get it right up to 30 there and bounced back off of it. All right, we're just kind of floating around here. Again, if you made a little bit of an adjustment out there against the 28, like I mentioned, or suggested 30, it would have been a little bit of a better opportunity to get in there if you're going to use that level at all. But like I also said, you probably have to do 30 on the 34th at that point. But it is what it is. If you didn't, if you waited, that's fine too. I encourage any questions if you're here and you're new to our room. Please ask any questions you want, but put them in the chat box area so that I will be able to get it faster. I'll see it quicker, I should say, than putting it on the in the Q&A section. Little range round up here, so be a little bit careful. I have not heard of that's a crazy amount there. I'm very surprised that anybody's increasing the contracts after the election. It's a little bit too early for that. Maybe on the night of the election. Sure there, Glenn. He'll reach out to you. I'm sure he'll read this post and get back to you as to switching over. I mean, I agree with you. I think it's a little bit too early for that to happen. But I'm just surprised that they're asking $13,000 per contract to trade. That's ridiculous, by the way. They just don't want people to trade. I mean, even when we were moving around like crazy, it wasn't at 13,000 in March. They increased it at that time too. Wasn't, yeah, well, I can understand in March that was still not 13,000. They just didn't want to participate in the risk. I guess it's crazy. They just wanted you to handle all the risk and none for them. They don't lose money either way. Come on, these guys aren't losing money, whether it's $1,000 or $1,200 or whatever, $800, what the usual amount is, or if it's you know, they don't lose money. They don't make money. I mean, they're bitching about making money. I guess I mean, I can understand when things were going crazy and somebody gets caught in one of those big moves and they panic and they don't get out. Could drain their account, but still, it's not going to drain the account where they're going to lose money. These guys don't lose money. We're talking about the brokerage houses. That's why I don't like them so much. They irritate me. As we are range bound here, kind of choppy around in this little range here. It did extend up to 30 and then came back off, and now coming back here to a blue band area there at 22 or 21. 22 is the blue band. 21 is our pivot, so kind of holding here above. So they've pulled the plug here a little bit on the trade. Again, it's going to be a quiet trade. Obviously, next Tuesday is going to be the U.S. presidential election. So it's tough to read the polls because of what happened last time. I mean, actually the polls were not wrong last time. It was a few of the states that were, that did not turn out the way. Well, they did turn out the right way, except they were a little closer than expected. And when you're winning the presidency by less than 1% in some states, and considering the not even 1%, it was 0.5% sometimes. The electoral college came into play, and even though I did lose the popular vote, he became president, and so now everybody's a little bit nervous this time around as to predicting anything, which they should be. should be. So when nobody's predicting anything, and so nobody really knows anything, I'm not going to predict this, what the market is going to do one way or the other. It was a crazy day of trading that day, last 4 years ago. So it will be a crazy night of trading, and I think that's why they're preempting, some of these brokerage houses are preempting the volatility to be high before it even happens. Usually, you increase your the level of money that you have in your account with regards to volatility. Not that you're going to assume volatility and increase your margins. That's what these guys are doing before it even happens. That's crazy. That was the question I was asked about. Why have they increased their margins to 13,000 a contract? That's nuts. Before it even happens. Like I said, that night could be, and again, it's going to be like an F day, because there's going to be some people who are going to think that if Biden wins, I think, and I've told you this, I think that the markets would go a lot higher, because they're going to, especially if they win the Senate too. So you're going to have the results from the presidential situation coming through all night, and some are going to be good, some are going to be bad, and you're going to have that kind of opportunity, and then you're going to get the state results from the Senate races that are going to come back in, and that's going to have another effect on the market. So it's definitely going to be an F night, for sure. And this year, because of the early voting and the mail-in votes and everything like that, when you get the results from these states, are going to take a little bit longer, because they don't start counting the mail-in votes until election night. So consequently, they're going to take longer to process. It's a whole big spiel this year because of the COVID thing. Now we're looking down at the 13 areas in the support level as we come off here a little bit. So a lot of variables going into this election that have to be taken into account, and I think we're going to be busy, because if let's say I don't know what's going to happen, but let's say the president loses and he starts doing what he said he was going to do in regards to contesting some of these results in court, like he does it with everything else, then this might even take longer to deal with. As we quickly come down here to our 13 area. All right, there's a nice quick rotation there. 13 and a half entry point, got up to 575 and off. That's a nice quick trade. I didn't even have a moment to absorb it and tell you that it got down there. You got your profit, quick 2-point rotation there. So that's where you're right there, HD, top end. I get it. I was going to say that another way of dealing with that HD is to put more contracts. Let's say you're trading multiple contracts. Obviously, you have to trade multiple contracts to be able to do this, right? It's a little bit more risky, but because you said a couple times you get filled on the top end, that you double your entry amount on your top end, and that way, if in case it just hits the top end, you get filled and you have that rotation. Okay, as you can see here, the volatility has kind of increased here a little bit. Maybe there's some news coming out. So we hit a nice little quick, nice. Yeah, there was a again, like it's true. We did talk about getting short there below 16 for a push down. That was the little sell opportunity there too. We talked about that earlier. If you were with us, that's where we could have gotten short here. And now we're continuing to push down here. Like I said, some news is up here for it to kind of bust us out. Again, the 13.5 area worked very nicely there. We got a quick rotation. The level works, even though maybe it didn't get filled below it. It did get down to 13 and bounce back up. It is whipping around here a little bit, so be a little bit careful. So something's up here because look at the floodgates have opened up really fast. Again, when this happens and you're trading and you see what's going on, you have a choice here to either lessen the number of contracts that you're trading, or get a little different entry point to give yourself a chance against our levels. I mean, this is a little bit of you have to see what's happening and understand what's going on and quickly react to it, right? Because that's what we do here. We have to react to market volatility and movement. But as you can see here, you are getting your rotations here very nicely off of our levels. Another 7 went down to 5 really quick and it popped back up. Again, keeping your stop in there, 2-3 points. Let's say, 3. Finger stop would be a little bit easier to do than having a mechanical stop to get you kind of. That's very nice. That's a good, nice entry point there. Again, there was a little entry point to get short there at the 16 area. And that's where we just told you that we needed to be short to look for our rotation down to the lower end of our levels here. And like I said, I don't know what's up. Something is up. Again, the news has been very sensitive to COVID relief packages coming out of Washington, or lack of. I think that could always be a reason why the market has decided to rotate down here. All right, Mark, good job. All right, it's a nice little opportunity there against quickly. Got our levels triggered, got our rotations in there, and quickly had to get out of the 13 area. That actually worked out. It did go to 13 if you had 13 straight up, and then bounced back up to 15. And then we did quickly came down here to our 7 area, which again, if you scaled in, you probably got filled in everything there, and it had a nice rotation back up to almost 10 area. Hopefully we were able to get out of some of those trades. And some nice little opportunities there. It happened really fast. So this is what happens. We are quiet, and then all of a sudden we just get an influx of trades in the first 5 minutes. And this is what our business does, right? You just never know when the floodgates are going to open up, and that's why you got to stay focused. You got to stay focused and give yourself a good chance to make a little bit of money, because you never know when something's going to happen. Serdar, could you input the levels again in the chat for me? I'd appreciate it. There are the levels in the chat box area for those of you who may have missed them, coming a little bit late. We did hit our 28 level and then came off of it And then now we just hit our 13 and our 07 levels, so we're down to our lower end there at 3,400 is our next support level. And this just happened in the last 10 minutes here, where something happened. And again, we did say that we wanted to be short below the 16 area. If you did jump on and carry on with your momentum trade, that's where you wanted to get in. All right. Always got to be ready for some action here. This is one thing that, if you're trading futures, you never know when you're going to get busy. You just never know. All right, again, we are trading mini S&Ps here. We are scalping the market. We're looking for these opportunities that the market will give us. We like to think that we are scalping the market using our levels that we gave out plus the price action opportunities. Case in point, we said we can put short here below the 16 area, and that allowed us to make a little bit of money there, being short as this and caught some of this move to the downside as the market rotated down here. And we came down here to, we had 07, we got down here to 5. Hopefully we were able to stay with it and make a little bit of money on the rotation off of that. Also below that double bottom there, HD. Below the blue band there. Do you see it? Here. See it? I don't make things up. Everything that I say is actually taught in our education course that we have. try to, if you want to know why, I would have said that we wanted to get short there or find these levels on your own. This is what we do here. We try to give you these opportunities to trade and to find the levels on your own to be able to. The goal of the course is to be able for you to do this on your own and to be able to trade on your own, find levels on your own, find the setups on your own, and and you can actually take this kind of stuff and use it in other markets as well. It's more technically based, but like I said, for us right now it works well for S&Ps, and that's why we focus more on one market instead of trying to focus on many. But they probably do work in other markets as well. I can tell you that for sure. I do know for sure that they do. The ideas and concepts that we teach. And again, the objective here is, how to get into them, how to recognize the trade, how to implement the trade, and then recognition of the trade is one thing, and then the execution is the other thing. We show you how to do that as well. So there are different ways of getting into trades, how you scale into them, scale out of them, so on and so forth. So that's what we do here on an everyday basis. And again, everything I do is taught, or if everything I say is not just made up or anything like that. There's a logical reason for it. We talk about in our education course multiple reasons to trade. And we try to give you those multiple reasons, and also you need to find those trades that you can recognize, the ones that are comfortable for you to visualize, and then for you to execute, because there are some that are a little bit trickier. Finding them, trying to execute them are a little bit trickier than some others. But that's what we're here for. All right, market kind of settling down there on these lows. Again, there's very news sensitive to some of the situations in Washington in regards to any of the possible stimulus talks that they're talking about. Nancy Pelosi said last Tuesday was going to be her deadline for anything. She obviously extended it into this week, as they were at least talking. And so, they come out and say nothing's going to happen until after the election, or they're not talking anymore, or anything to that extent that could lead to a little, flush areas of the market. As the Fed governor, Fed chief said that they can only do so much as far as the Fed was concerned. The rest of it has to come from stimulus. And I don't understand, and I still don't understand how the president doesn't want to come to some kind of agreement there, because I think it would be good for him. I don't know, but it's not happening. No, I can agree with all those levels there, Don. Any holiday plans? Well, that's very tricky because, well, first of all, Thanksgiving is coming up in about a month, and here in Chicago, everybody, the numbers are going up, and so they're telling people to stay away from Thanksgiving. So, but I think we're still going to. The kids are going to come over, so that's the first thing, and then hopefully, hopefully it's still a month away, so anything can happen in a month. A million things, and this year there's nothing that happens that surprises me anymore. This is until 2020 is over with and in the books. It's, anything could happen, right? But let's hope that we can get Thanksgiving and the kids come over, and then as far as the holidays, December, nothing. We can't go anywhere. It's not like anything can happen. Nobody can go anywhere. And just hopefully just get together with the kids and their significant others. I've heard turkey kills the COVID. That's coming from Don. Maybe the Texas turkey kills the COVID. Forgot about that. I don't know. Oh, we are starting to go down here some more. Wow, this market is really very, very. Whatever happened there, whoever said what they said is not focusing on not good news here as the market continues to downtick. And then down here, next level on the downside we have is even. And down here to 1.5 and trying to bounce back up there a little bit. We have even area as our next support level. Again, we suggested getting short there at the 16 area, and obviously you're taking some profits here as they come down to our levels. Right, coming down here to the even area. Whoa. Hello. Thank you very much, as they say in French. All right. I was a little nervous, but then the trading god saved us. That was beautiful. Absolutely. Wow, that was nice. No, you didn't have a chance to scratch that one. Yeah, I felt some heat there for a second, and then all of a sudden somebody's bailed us out. Whoa, that was beautiful. Hopefully, you gotta have your orders in there. Keep telling me, right? Just keep telling me those orders gotta be in there. Right. Next one on the downside we have is 95 there. Then we have 88, and below that, you got 80 and 74. Okay, so below the 95, we got 88, 80, and 74, and then 64. So I don't know what's going on here, but obviously they don't like what's happening. The S&Ps are down like 50 points here already. Wow. So yeah, so we are giving us chances here to make a little bit of money here against these levels that we gave out, and so that was a nice little gift. Quickly, that doesn't happen all the time. You know that doesn't happen, right? But that was a nice one. All right. So we've done good here on our level, all the way down from 13.7, uneven here, all these levels against 28 up on top. We had the rotation to our blue band earlier that also worked. The limit up or limit down is based on percentages, 7%. So there is a number that it's in there. What are you talking about limits already for? I mean, let's put it this way. I think it's like 7%. It could be 5% the first level. If that's the case, 5% would be 170 S&P points down, somewhere in that range. That's it's based on percentages. I think it's 5%, then 7%. So I think they go off of that. That's how they do it. I think the 5% is the first level where then things shut down for 15 or 20 minutes, and then it goes, if it continues to sell off or rally, then it goes down to, usually they don't get limit ups on days, right? That doesn't usually happen. It's usually limit down days. It's amazing that you said that, by the way. I'm just a little, what brought that up? So there is a number. So you take the settlement price, which right now is up at 34.50 range. And so just let's say it was 34.50. And let's see, 34.50 times 3, the 32.75 area. 32.75 would be your first stoppage area. Just in case you were wondering. Why in the world did you ask about limit up or limit down? That is like you know something here? Oh, you're thinking ahead. Maybe you're thinking ahead to the election. I don't know. Who knows? And I don't even know if that's going to happen then either. So that's a long way away. But it has happened. All right. We have had in March, we were whipping around crazily like that. Yeah, no, it's based on percentages of the market. So a 5% dip in the market, like I said, would bring us down from the settlement price, would bring us down to 32.75. That would be our first stoppage of the market. That's not 100 points, or not that many points. It's about percentages. Good question. Well, surprisingly good question. That's for information purposes only, not because it's happening. All right, so below 33.95 is the next level, even though we did get down here to 97. So anyway, this is kind of moving. Be a little bit careful there. We extended it to 94, 93 even. And then below that, 88, 80, 74, and 64. Yeah, the levels. What'll happen? Obviously, you don't go. Be very surprised if you go 5% from the beginning of the day till the end. Till it hits. Usually, what happens is we open up 50, 80, 100 points lower, and then what will happen at that point will be the man talking like that, like it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal. That's a lot. That's a very to open up. But then what will happen is your brokerage house will probably send you an email advising you or telling you um, that the level would be where the levels would be that the market is going to. They will send you an email telling you that when it gets closer to uh, if it opens up like that, one way or the other. Can you hear me all right? I mean, somebody's saying my voice is not coming through too well. I haven't really done anything to anything. I don't know why that's happening all of a sudden. Okay, well, that's good. All right, we continue to drift down here again, be a little bit, obviously the volatility has increased a little bit here. So just be careful and keep your stop in. As we open up lower, now continue to downtick. And like I said, maybe a little bit careful here around the 95. No problem. Not a big deal. I'm just wondering why you thought of that all of a sudden. That's the only thing that's VIX is at 30 now. That's good. We like the VIX is a volatility index, and we obviously traders like volatility. I know it still sounds a little scary sometimes, but as you can see here with the way it worked out in our last level, that's why we like volatility. You get good movement both ways versus rally markets that sometimes you don't get the movement both ways. And look, there's risk both sides. You have to make sure your stop is in no matter what. You don't want to. We've had nice levels all the way down here that worked out very nicely for us. And so you want to keep your stops to the same amount. You don't want to have one of these trades like wipe you out for all the good work that we did all morning. And if you did well this morning and you've gotten a few nice trades in, and we are coming up against our 95 area here, giving us a nice little bit of a rotation up here. Again, take a little bit less profit, take a little bit, just make sure you take something off the table, something like that, so you can lessen the risk. You've done all right this morning, so you don't want to, push it here, right? If you traded with us, 4 or 5 different trades, all have been profitable. So now you definitely have to trade cautiously and smaller and take a little bit less off the table against these levels. And, unless you're trying to ride something with a trailing stop, I get that too. But always adjust your trading to your, what you're doing and how you're doing. And even when you're down money, we talked about how you handle that situation as well. But everything, like I say, or talk about, or like I said, we talk about in our education course, and how to handle risk and how to deal with it, how to deal when you're up, how to deal with when you're down, and how to manage your trade during the course of a day. All things that come into play as a trader. And we suggested here the volatility has increased a little bit, and if you did get in at 95 and a half, it rolled up all the way up to 7 and change there, almost 7 and a half. But I suggest let's take your profits, even though it's a little less. Or if you did get in here at the 93 instead, like I maybe did that, you're getting a chance here to scratch it. So the levels here below we got 95, and then we have 88. It's coming down on the 88 level, and then 80, 74, and then 64. As the market is definitely under pressure here, and you gotta, you gotta understand what the market's doing, and don't obviously trade accordingly, especially since we did well with our levels. You can't pretend that we're not under pressure here. There are the levels in the chat box area for some of you maybe have come in a little late if you want to miss what the levels were. They're right there as we're rotating down here to the 88 level. As we also give the levels down below it. Right, coming down here to the 88 level. Again, just keep your stop in no matter what, right? Because we don't know, there is something going on here with the market, and it's definitely, pushing this market to these lows. Bonds though are really not reacted whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, obviously the market's opened up here a little bit, but again, market's going to go straight up or straight down. So consequently, we're trying to find these levels where they will give us a little bit of a chance here to make a little bit of money. Are they less reliable? I don't know. I don't really think about it that way. I just think of trading the opportunity that the market gives us. I'm not looking at, yeah, obviously it's more risky, if that's your question. But as you can see, we are getting risk reward here, right? You're getting nice little rotations off of these levels, and you're going to find one of these levels that are perfectly like the low of the day or something. And how you scale out of them is going to be important, but you are given the opportunity here. It is working out for us. Well, yes, there's a lot more slippage. I think that's what you're saying. Yeah, the 88 was a level down here. Yes, the slippage, and that's why we take into consideration the slippage by telling you to increase your stops. Right, because it did go down to 86.75 and then bounce back up here, but another nice trade there against our 88 then. Yeah, 88 was a level. It was in the chat there, Robert. The levels were written in the chat, and I also repeated it a couple times. There they are. Can you see them? Right, they've been in there for a while, and I did repeat them, but that was our level initially anyway. I gave 80, 74, and 64 as the next levels down below. So again, you're right there. So there's a little bit more slippage involved, and that's why we adjusted that by saying that we have to adjust our stops a little bit to take into consideration the slippage that occurs. So all right. So again, this market did go down here to the 88, and nice little bounce here off of that level. And and we are getting so to HT's concerns there about both levels. Today we're getting both levels, and we are getting paid off. Very nice there, Jerry. Nice little day for you. Very nice. Yeah, I understand there. I get it, HD. I'm just saying. Sometimes it feels like you're getting run over. Sometimes it doesn't. You always remember the times when you get run over, and then you forget the times that you made the money when you got filled on everything, and then you always, I understand what you're saying because I can remember, and I do, and I've told you these stories about my losing days, right? You remember more your losing days more than you remember your winning days, that's for sure. And and I feel I can repeat all my bad losing days to you, and they still feel the pain. But my good winning days, I, I don't even think about them. There's no pain, so they don't last. They feel good. You don't think about them. That's supposed to happen, so you don't. It's not as bad. But yeah, I mean, you sometimes you only focus on the losers instead, and then the pain hurts, and those are the ones you remember. And then the times when you're making money on both your entry points there, you don't think about it because it's supposed to happen. How do I cope with what losing? I made sure how do I don't know. Just try to you have to try to minimize the loss in the losing days because you're gonna get these days like today. You're gonna get these days like today where we're bouncing off of all our levels and you want to be around for them. Today we've gone through all of them, basically 6, 7 trades here where they've had nice opportunities. No, I don't drink. I mean, not when I'm trading. Uh, okay, so if you're on a losing streak, like what you're saying, uh, you gotta come back and trade very small, and um, if you have your if you make your first trade and you win make money on that first trade on the next day and you trade small, I would stop for the day. Okay. The tendency is that you're always trying to make up the money that you lost quickly, and that's a bad trade for traders. It's a bad trade for anybody, but especially traders because let's say you lose, they had a bad day, so you're thinking, okay, I can come back tomorrow and make it back. Now, if you lose an acceptable amount, then yeah, you can come back. But let's say you had a really bad, let's say you went a streak, like you're saying, of 3 or 4 days. I would, and again, even on the second day of my streak, I would have made sure that I've traded a lot less and got back on the right track. The most important thing is to get back on the right track, whether it's just be one day, one trade, just to feel positive. Because half the battle in this business is your brain and how you handle ups and downs. And if you can feel good enough about being positive again, then making a little bit of money that one day, then you can slowly get back your money that you've lost over the course of the last couple. But you can't get it all back in one day, because you never know when you're going to have a good day like today. You're going to make a decent amount of money, and it'll make up for that one bad day or bad couple of days, but it might not happen till a month or two later, where you're trading well and all our levels are clicking and we're doing fantastic. And then all of a sudden you make a decent amount of money that makes up for 2 or 3 bad days. But you never know when that's going to happen. I mean, we come into work here not expecting anything. We don't expect a lot of volatility. We don't expect movement. We don't know what's going to happen day to day, and that's what makes this business so intriguing on one end and exciting, but also frustrating and different. It's different than going to an office, sitting behind a desk and knowing what you have to do that day. This is get in front of your computer, and you don't know what kind of volatility we're going to have. You don't know if we're going to get busy all of a sudden or not, like we did today. I mean, we were quiet for most of the first half hour of the day, and then all of a sudden, boom, over the next hour or so, been very busy and staying focused and getting excited about trading. And so, yeah, I mean, this is the one exciting thing about this business that's different than most, but you have to learn how to deal with it. You have to learn how to handle, how to get back on the right track, and all of that stuff. For some of the new folks that are in here, we talk about it in our education course and how to deal with it. The psychology part of trading, psychological part of trading is very important. Given that I've been there and probably experienced a few things that you're all going through, I can probably try to tell you what not to do. But again, all the things that I've told you not to do, I've done. So I'm an expert at telling you what not to do and doing it. But if you can at least think about it, maybe you won't get it. You won't do it the next time. Like I said, I've been there, done that. Whatever your experience is experiencing, I've been there and done that. Losing streaks, winning streaks, whatever it is. Feeling down, getting back on the right track, not, how to dial down your size to get back on the right track. All that stuff. Been there, done that. All right, so we did bounce here. We got 88. That went down to 675. As you can see here, the market is under a little bit of pressure. And next level on the downside we have is 80. We've done well today, bouncing off of our levels here. And we're not always going to be this good, right? Let's not get carried away here. I mean, basically, we've had a good opportunity on all our levels. That's good. That's very good. But it's going to be a good Monday. Let's put it that way. Well, I hope it's a good Monday for most of you. How's that? If you've been kind of following what we've been doing, should be a good Monday. On market, getting a little bit strong here on their highs. Just nothing going on there in the bond market. It's pretty sad. But they're making new highs here in the bonds, so I'm assuming that we're going to continue to downtick here. The market here is very, very under a lot of pressure. Let's see if we can. Okay, next level on the downside we have is the 80 area. You know what? We don't have to at this point, especially since you're up. Well, you have to do at least 3 points for sure. So, uh, you know, take into consideration what's going on, right? We've been very lucky keeping it basically 2 or 3 points so far, but I think for sure you got to go 3 or 4 at this point. Or at this point, if you're up money and you did all right this morning, you know, you're considering maybe not continuing to trade that much more, right? As we continue to downtick here, 80 level bond market, just somebody woke them up big time. Something's up. Pelosi mentioned to discuss stimulus at 1 p.m. Chicago time. Okay. So they come out of that meeting blaming each other. She's being stubborn. He's being stubborn. She's being stubborn. He's being stubborn. Yes, they're all, yes. They're like kids in a playpen. That's my toy. No, it's my toy. Give me my toy back. No, I'm not giving you your toy back. Seriously, they're a bunch of kids. Never seen such dysfunction ever. In the middle of a pandemic, for heaven's sakes, they can't agree on something. Something that hasn't happened in 100 years, and we're getting this BS that's going on in Washington. Both of them should be shot. Just ridiculous. Well, yeah, well, just shut up, Saul. Just shut up. I can't. Frustration is too overwhelming. All right, we continue to come down here, 80 level. It's the next support level. We got down to 81 here and a half. We continue to downtick, looking at the 80 again. Remember, I said if you're up and you're content with your day and you had a good morning, you know, you got to consider maybe just calling it. And you know, there's always tomorrow. It doesn't matter if we have some crazy business the rest of the day. You know, obviously, you could get caught at any one moment. You can go back to bed there, Mark in LA. Bouncing off here a little bit as bonds come off. I guess there's a little inverse relationship. Of course, it went down to 1.5 there and double bottomed instead of going down to 0.5 for us. So obviously, the 80 is going to be a little bit of a problem. Like I said, if you made some decent money this morning and you're up some good cash, just think about the alternative. It's getting to that point in late afternoon anyway, where we're going to you know, step back and kind of let things happen here. So this is where we focus more on morning hours to give us good opportunities to make a little bit of money. The morning hours trade well for us. The afternoon trade gets a little bit more one-sided. A lot more slippage involved there, and the price action opportunities are not as strong. If you're going to be trading in the late afternoon, I would only use, and if you're up some decent amount this morning, I would just use the levels there, keep your stops in. That would be the only thing that I would do. Obviously, there's going to be some price action opportunities, especially if we continue to be busy. But again, with any type of situation we're getting, any kind of news, any kind of markets that we're getting to trade here, there's obviously some volatility involved. So it's gonna you gotta be careful. Just be careful. Give you a fair warning. You never know when the floodgates could open up here. They seem to be under a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of air under here. So we're trying to find these areas where it's going to, give us a little opportunity to make some money. We did say that I will tell you again, we did say below 16 up there. So you want to get short. Some of you have hung in there with it. You're doing fantastic. Just fantastic. All right. Nice level bottom there at the 1.5 now. A little bit of a sale there below 80, and we have a support level at 80. So we have two conflicting situations that are in here. So we have to be a little bit careful when we have a buying opportunity and a selling opportunity all in the same area. It's probably a good reason not to trade that area. So keep that in mind if you are, trading. You do get one signal and another signal, and becomes a little bit, that's a good moment in time to tell you, well, I don't know what to do around this level. Maybe I should just skip it. Nothing wrong with that at all. So next level on the downside we have is a 74. I guess I should give you a couple levels below that too, right? Because I don't know what's going to happen. All right. Let's see, below the 64 here, we've got 56, 47, and 35. 56, 47, 35. Below the 64. Thank you, Sir Dar. I guess we're kind of leaning one way here. Yep. Yeah. Okay. All right, so there we have it. If you're looking at the chat box area, there are levels that we put out obviously early this morning. Obviously, I didn't know we were going to go one way this way, so the levels were extended, and those are the levels on the downside that you have. Right now, the market seems to have bottomed out there against the 81.5 area. Again, the 80 area now becomes a little bit more, very much more risky. There's a sell down at 80, but then at the same time it's a level, so there's, should not be shouldn't, probably not be able to use that level due to that, due to those facts. How do you determine how big to stop? Well, it's just based on volatility. It's been volatile, but at the same time, it's a controlled break here. It's not crazy. You get some of those breaks that are completely whitewashed, but this one has been going down very controlled and giving us good opportunity. And I think at least at this point, because it's not crazy, you're looking at probably about 3 to 4 point stops right now. Only because we have to increase it a little bit because the lower the market gets, the more volatile it gets. The VIX goes up. VIX is probably a good indicator of your stops and how big they should be. But yeah, again, looking at the volatility, I think you can gauge that on your own. I think you see the markets kind of getting a little bit more whippy, that you can probably make that determination on your own. We started out 2-3 points, we were very dead this morning, but then once the floodgates opened up here below the 13 above, it became more obvious that you had to extend your stops here a little bit. But like I said, if you're up this morning, we had a very exceptionally decent morning for us with the levels getting triggered and giving us some good opportunities to make some money. So you have to be a little bit careful here in the afternoon, as we don't know if the market is so sensitive to what's going on in Washington, that if there's nothing going on, especially if they come out with their results later and they say that they're not going to come up with any solution to their impasse. So that could create more. I think the market is kind of playing that, is kind of taking that into consideration already. Again, if you have any questions, especially some of the new folks, it's a good time to ask. Obviously, we've been busy this morning, so kind of keeps us. These are, time goes a lot quicker. Goes by a lot quicker when we're actually doing something versus just me talking and trying to fill some space here. But it's a lot better when there's things moving around. We can talk about the trade. We can talk about what we're doing, and makes it easier for me anyway. As we continue to again be a little bit careful here, like I said, the 80 here, the fact that there's two different situations coming up here. What kind of setups you look for around levels to enter a trade? Well, I mean, there's many situations, many ideas and concepts that we teach you for those, to show you for those setups. Um, Support and resistance based on technical analysis that we do. Um, the price action opportunities that occur, again, all because of the work that we do. Any of that stuff is we can teach you how to do it. So it's pretty much, that's what we kind of try to do here. So I'm not trying to hold anything back here, but it's there's the levels, and then there's learning how to get them, and that's what we do in our education courses: how to find those levels and how to trade around them, what to do with them, how to enter them, how to get out of them, different ways, depending on each individual's risk tolerance. Okay, again, you're taking a trade here, you're lowering your risk tolerance and trading very small, or like I said, you might be getting short here as well, depending on that's the problem with this area. How are you going to trade it? Because there's a buy and a sell indicator here. So it becomes a little bit tough to decide which way you're going to go with it. All right, obviously you can see what's happening against it. I don't have to tell you. again, the 80 level worked if you decided to take it. It was one of those, could have gone either way on that level. Or we could have broke through, or we could have held. I wasn't going to tell you which way to do it because it could definitely, it's 50-50 either way. This is where making a decision on your own to be able to make, are you going to trade the level or are you going to stay away from it? These are the questions that some of you have to ask yourselves, and everybody's got different risk tolerances. There's not one way to do this, not to either say that we're going to not use it or you're going to use it. I just gave you the facts of what could happen, and you have to make that determination on your own. Next time we'll go through, I don't know, will you take, I don't know, but you have to make that determination based on what I see, and that's what happened there. But some of you still took the levels because, like I said, some of you maybe got into the lower end as it went right down to 79 and a quarter there, gave you a nice entry point on the lower end if you adjusted a little bit. And if you didn't, that's fine too. We'll wait for the 74 area on the downside. Again, we are trying to take advantage of ebbs and flows of the market using the levels that we gave out and these opportunities that are present themselves in the market. And consequently, we are just trying to scalp the market. Right now, because of the added volatility, probably 3 to 4 points would be our target. Again, if you were with us early this morning, we've had a lot of good opportunities here as we've been trickling down. As the market has been trickling down here, it's giving us, this is a good controlled break, and there's good ebbs and flows. Let's see what happens when markets go down. Unfortunately, sometimes when markets go up, you don't get the good opportunities because the ebbs and flows are not there. I don't know why. That's why traders do like markets to go down. They give you good opportunity, many more chances to make a little bit of money versus that slow rally markets that always occur once they happen. But it is what it is. Hopefully you were able to hang in there with it this morning and stay with us. And hopefully I guided you along, trying to keep you out of trouble. Keep you on the right side of the market is important. Again, if you have any questions, good time to ask. Put them in the chat box area. Be glad to answer them for you. As we're coming here to end of our morning hours, where this is where we get a good opportunity. I think there's better opportunity there in the morning where we get these ebbs and flows. It gets a little bit more choppy in this late afternoon, late morning to early afternoon, especially because of a few less traders around. The levels are not as strong as, at least the price action opportunities are not as strong. I think you can still use the levels that we gave out to kind of scalp around them. Those are still viable. Right now, at this moment in time, there is probably a little resistance around the even area. And if we get up there, maybe the 95 area as well. 95 to even area would be our good level of resistance if we get up there, and we'll see what happens. But we've had a lot of nice trades this morning, so I told you to be a little bit careful. And if you have any questions, good time to ask them right now before we take a little bit of a break here. Brad will be able to discuss that with you. He should be coming on shortly, and he can obviously get in contact with you to help you out there and let you know whatever information you need. The question was, oh, how much was the course? So that again, if you're interested, Brad will be on here momentarily, and he can tell you how to get in contact with you and chit chat with you about that kind of stuff. And we do the course in this room right in here, and that is what we do it right here using live charts, and so I like to use the live charts. We kind of do it at the end of the day. So, and obviously, if you've taken the course already, you're more than welcome to always sit back in. So this is an ongoing situation. It's just not a one-time thing. So if that helps at all. I'm always here to sharpen up your tools in the toolbox, as they say. All right, there's Sardar. Thanks for your help there with posting the levels for me. I appreciate that. All right, I'm gonna take a little bit of a break now. I'll come back in a bit.
Hey, a couple quick shout outs. Hey, John F. I just sent you out that opportunity to save that 279 a month. Just sent it out to you personally. Ozbek, I'll ring you up in a couple minutes. Is that okay? Hey, Andrea, I just sent it out to you. Hey, Betty, any questions about Sol Services? For those that are joining us on the outside, click on the link, join us in Zoom live. Everything we do is for educational purposes only. Nothing is to be taken as direct trading advice. Sol has guests come in, they convert to monthlies, and then we talk about the opportunities that are available based on Sol's course and mentoring work. You can stay as a monthly as you wish, or you could move on into Sol's course and mentoring work. It's up to you. If you like what we're doing here, tell your friends, send it out through all the social media opportunities out there, and we appreciate you being here.